Hey there, how you doing? I want to thank you so much for joining me for this quick training today. I'm going to assume that you landed here because you have some sort of an interest in either growing or scaling your online business and you'd like to do that more effectively and profitably if at all possible. So I'm super excited you're here because it's exactly what I'm going to be showing you guys here today on this training. It's how you can use something that I call the ETHOS Effect to effectively, quickly, and profitably create a thriving online business using your social media. Okay, so for those of you guys that might not know, my name is John Day. I run a digital marketing and consulting agency, and I also coach coaches on how to implement the ETHOS Effect in their business. Okay, guys, this training today is going to be specifically for coaches, experts, consultants, or really anybody with a unique skill set that's looking to monetize that skill set online. And potentially maybe you're just not getting the traction that you want, not getting the traction that you think you should be getting. And ultimately, if you're struggling to hit your revenue goals every month, then you're really going to want to pay attention, because this alone is what has allowed not only myself but my clients to scale and create amazing profitable businesses and do it in a very, very short amount of time. Okay, it's not super complicated, but it's definitely something that you have to have dialed in. All right, guys, so again, thank you so much for joining me. Let's jump into this and let's figure out how it is that we can utilize this system in your business. All right, now a lot of people hear me talking about ethos all the time, and it's usually a great place to start. What is ethos? Why is that important to you as a coach, as an online expert, as somebody who is trying to build credibility? This is very important. Ethos basically means the defining characteristic or spirit of a time, an era, a place, or even a person. Okay, so when it comes to the online game, it is of supreme importance that you develop credibility in the minds of your prospects, in the mind of your tribe. So, ethos and the ethos effect and being able to activate that ethos is going to be paramount in your success in the online world. Because without the credibility, without the ability to be able to effectively resonate your message to your tribe, you're going to have a very, very hard time being profitable, making sales, and just in general creating the life that you want to create. And I don't want that for you. I've already gone through most of the trial and error myself, so I do not want you to have to struggle with that. And I have broken it down into a system that is so simple that anybody can implement this. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump into it right now. So, to create ethos, which again, ethos is not my creation. For those of you that might know, I'm actually a philosophy buff, and there's a guy about 2,000 years ago in Greece. His name is Aristotle. Really, really smart guy, okay? He was already talking about ethos back then. He had already developed a methodology that allowed him to more effectively communicate with his audience. In their time and in their day, it was in the platform of speaking and how to speak effectively to a crowd of people, how to sway them and persuade them, and how to establish credibility for your ethics in the minds of these people. So, what I've basically done is I've taken these same principles that have existed for over 2,000 years, the same principles that are intrinsic to humans back then and they are today, and we've simply updated them to a more modern means to where they can actually be applicable to the type of marketing that we do today, and they can serve us in a way to be able to create an awesome, profitable online business, right? And that's the goal. So, ethos, as defined by Aristotle, basically is a combination of getting a few things together working seamlessly, all right? Very, very important, and these three elements basically are going to be the foundation of what creates your ethos. And again, super important that you develop this ethos online. You need ethos, you need credibility, okay? Oftentimes though, in my experience with coaches and experts, they have a very hard time connecting with this, identifying what is their true ethos, their passion, their defining characteristic. And then ultimately, how do we take that and turn it into a high ticket offer? How do we leverage that high ticket offer with the correct messaging? And how do we get it out to the tribe, okay? This system is going to show you exactly how to do every single piece of that. All right, so to establish ethos, you need a couple of different things. So, in order to first activate our ethos, we have to be aware of what these elements are that go into creating ethos. Okay, so I'm not going to get real super deep on the philosophy part of this today, guys. I'm just going to be showing you what you need to know to make this whole system make sense and understand. But if you're interested in this, by all means, look deeper into it, and I'm sure that you'll find that it's just as fascinating as I did. So, the elements that you're going to need to incorporate together and have congruency with to have ethos are these. You're going to need logos. Pathos. And you're going to need Kairos. Okay. These are 3 Greek words, none of which you need to remember. The important part is what they relate to, basically, okay? So logos, basically, the short and sweet of it relates to logic. This is the logical reasoning behind your message, what you're doing, ultimately your offer, and everything that goes along with it. This is how it logically makes sense to people, okay? Pathos relates directly to emotion, okay? This is going to be crucial in your messaging. This is going to be crucial in you being able to trigger and elicit the emotions in your tribe and create a connection by actually effectively using these emotions, okay? And the final one here is Kairos, which is an element of timing. Timing is crucial, especially in the marketing world. Timing could be everything. A lot of people can have a lot of the other elements of these different things put together, but with the wrong timing, you could still potentially fall on deaf ears, and we don't want that to happen. So, how does any of this relate to a high-ticket offer and helping you grow a profitable online business? Well, I'm going to show you. So, the 3 elements that you basically need to have this profitable online business are going to relate directly to these 3 things, okay? So, logos is ultimately going to be your unique process, your unique methodology, if you would. Got to have a process, preferably a unique process, something that hasn't been seen before. Your process is the logical reasoning behind. This is how it makes sense. This is how you're actually going to generate results for your clients, and this is how they're able to see what that journey looks like from A to B. Okay, this is super, super crucial, and this is a step that a lot of coaches and experts miss. Okay, so pulling out that methodology from your brain, whether you have it detailed out yet or not, if you are an expert, if you've ever been working with anybody or helping anybody, you do have a process. You more than likely just have trouble extracting it and looking at that process from a third-party perspective, from an objective perspective, if you will. It's one of the things that I help my clients do, is develop that objective perspective around these elements, so that way they can actually have the congruency needed and can see it in their own head. And that obviously builds confidence, which leads into them being able to sell more confidently. As you probably can understand from there, that's where we want to be. So, you need a unique process, okay? You got to have an offer as well, too. The offer, ironically enough, relates to timing, because again, in the marketplace, your offer has to have an element of timing. It has to be the right time, it has to be the right place, and it's got to be the right people. But timing is ultimately everything. You really don't want to be trying to offer something that is, to be completely honest, already solved, something that people aren't looking for. So again, this is an element of timing that is crucial. So you need an offer, you need a unique process, and then ultimately, you need a message or messaging. Okay? And your message ties in directly to emotion, all right? This is how you're going to have an emotional connection with your prospects, with your potential buyers, is by crafting your messaging effectively, okay? Crystal clear messaging that is congruent with your offer, which is congruent with what it is that you're doing, why you want to do it, why you have this desire to help people. And this is a way to translate that message to them, so that way they know instantaneously who you are, what you're about, what you do, and how you can help them, okay? The quicker that you can get congruency around this, the more streamlined your entire process is going to be, I guarantee you. And if you're struggling right now with any one of these elements, this is definitely probably where you want to focus in on, okay? By far, the most amount of time should be put into this stage right here, okay? This is what I call ethos activation. To activate the ethos, you got to have clarity around these elements, okay? And clarity around these elements are going to bring you to the ethos effect, okay? The foundation of the ethos effect. Okay, like I said, all of these incongruency create ethos and the beginning foundations of what we call the ethos effect, all right? And as we have said before, this ties directly into your credibility. Forgive me if the spelling isn't on point, but you get the idea. Credibility. If you want to have any type of impact in the online world today, you have to have a certain amount of credibility. People are never going to give you money if they do not know a damn thing about you, And it's a struggle for them to actually figure out what you're about or how you can help them. The entire name of the game with online marketing is to simplify that decision-making process down to the bare minimum, okay? People's attention spans are lower than ever. I'm probably sure you're aware of that. But again, any online space, you're competing with thousands and thousands of other people who potentially are offering very similar services. So in an effort to differentiate yourself and also build the credibility that's needed, you have to have your ethos activated. You have to have clarity around these pillars, which are ultimately going to create the beginning of the ethos effect, okay? Now, once you have this foundation rolling, that's not the end. That's definitely not the end of the puzzle. There's many more steps to go along to this. But this is how you activate ethos. Now, to get the full effect of the ethos effect, again, sorry, it's a little bit repetitious, but anyways, to get the full effect of this system and really utilize it in your business to the max amount of effect and profitability, the next step is going to be, how do we leverage a delivery system, okay? The delivery system and how to take this message, this offer, unique process, your ethos, credibility, how do we get that out to your tribe, okay? Well, to do that, you need a delivery system. So, this is the next biggest place where coaches and experts get hung up, is in a delivery system and how to effectively convey all of these pieces to their tribe and do it in a way that actually results in traction, results in engagement. And I don't mean engagement in just likes and hearts and stuff like that. I mean engagement as of people reaching out to you, people interested in what it is that you're doing, either wanting to know more or already being completely certain that they do need what you're offering, okay? So, luckily for us, we live in a digital age. The delivery platforms are already there. They're called social media, okay? But knowing how to leverage these effectively can be a little bit tricky. And there is a ridiculous amount of information out there on the different types of content that you need and different things you need to be doing online. I simplified it for you, okay? I created something called the Activators Playbook. And this is basically going to break down for you all the different types of content that you're ever going to need to use on social media to effectively generate clients and do it easily, okay? Do it painlessly, because that's the idea. Because again, the process that we're going through here too, this is not a cold calling process. This is in an attempt to remove you from having to do so much cold outreach, all right? I want to be able to alleviate what I call shameful selling, okay? And that's when you're consistently having to reach out to people. And again, even if you do have confidence and clarity around these things, it can still feel very icky. It still feels like you're just taking people's time. You're taking time away from them. You're actually having to knock on their door and ask for permission. The reverse effect of this, when you actually have the ethos effect going, is that people are reaching out to you, okay? And that's exactly where you want to be. But to get there, you have to have a strategy, a content strategy, and it has to be executed on effectively and correctly, all right? So, okay. So, in order to get that message out correctly, you're going to be using the Activators Playbook. Now, pretty much all social media platforms are going to break down like this. This is specifically targeted towards Facebook. That's where my expertise lies. That's where I've grown my business, and that's where my clients grow their business as well. Now, that being said, the foundational principles behind what I'm getting ready to teach you will apply to all platforms, okay? Because this is the psychology behind how to get people to resonate with you, all right? So again, minor modifications may need to be made, but this same basic approach will work on any social media platform, okay, 100%. So, any idea of Facebook, it's going to break down to pretty much two big buckets. Your personal profile, and groups, okay? These are the two main buckets in which we're going to focus on your delivery system on Facebook. You have two ways you can utilize this. Your personal profile, which is basically like your house. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want to do, which is awesome. And then there's groups. The equivalent would be somebody else's house. There are rules. You have to be respectful, and it has to be done a little bit more delicately. But again, it 100% can be done ethically and done to the point to where group moderators actually enjoy you because you become a rock star in somebody else's group. Now, again, like I said, one of the main places that people struggle is how to create this content, and they end up just creating endless amounts of useless content with no real clear strategy or positioning, nothing that actually ties into their ethos, nothing that is actually congruent with the other elements of their business that they've already established. Okay, so I'm going to break down for you guys here real quick exactly the 4 basic type of content that you need to have the most effect. All right, there's only 4 that you need. Okay. First type of content that you're going to want to focus on heavily, by far the most important, and in my opinion, the most effective, is what we call belief shifting content. Okay. Ironically enough, labeled BS, but I can assure you it is anything but that. Belief shifting content is going to be your most powerful tool in marketing to be able to effectively shift the mindset of your prospects and help them to understand why your methodology, your offer is ultimately the best option for them. Okay, so belief shifting content is all about understanding where your prospects are at, what their mindset, where their headspace is at, and being able to create content that takes them on a journey from point A to point B, from where they're at to where they want to be, okay? And there's a lot of different ways you can effectively do this. My preferred method is actually through video. I prefer using video because branding, in the sense of branding, I know a lot of people out there are concerned with branding and long-term branding because they have a vision. They want to grow their business into something huge, monumental, and that's friggin' awesome. That's exactly what we want to do. But if you're worried about branding, focus on video content. Your face is the best branding you're ever going to have, okay? Humans are engineered. We're geared to recognize faces, okay? So video content is super, super, super crucial and effective. Not to say that written format isn't effective. It is just as effective, and I've seen people use it just as profitably as video content. But again, video content also has the ability to be repurposed for a plethora of different things and uses. And again, it more so establishes that connection with you. People can actually see your face. It's more raw and real, and it humanizes you in a way that allows people to be able to connect with you, which is what you need if you're going to actually be able to serve them, okay? So, the most crucial by far. Second most important is going to be your offers. Too often times, people with amazing skill sets, they aren't able to monetize it simply because they're not putting the offer out there. They're not making the offer consistently enough, okay? And I can guarantee you for 99% of the people that I have ever spoken with or dealt with, what your idea of offering enough is not nearly enough, okay? In the marketing world, you have to understand that you are vying with thousands of potentially other people, okay? The attention span is so low, and ultimately, we are all concerned with ourselves, realistically. So, to be able to get something across to somebody that sticks and that they remember consistently, it takes doing a lot of offers, a lot more than you're probably comfortable with right now. But that's why we've actually developed, or not developed, but we have chosen to implement power offers. Power offers is not something we developed. Joe Irway is a great guy. He developed power offers. They're friggin' amazing, super simple, and they work because they cut right through the fluff and they get right to the heart of what it is that you can do, directly calling out the people that you are most interested in working with, okay? Super, super effective when used consistently, all right? Now, the other 2 pieces are not nearly as crucial, but they're still important as well, too, all right? And the other ones are going to be the trust factor. The trust factor, and then engagement. Your trust factor basically is similar to know, like, and trust, all right? You want to be able to create content that's going to bring them into your world a little bit and get them to like you, so that way the process of working with you, it becomes an enjoyable experience, all right? And ultimately, again, they have to like you before they can trust you. They have to trust you before they're going to give you money, okay? That's just the plain and simple of the psychology of it. And in the end, we have engagement, all right? Engagement is super important because this is all about just basically using the algorithm to our advantage, all right? We live in a digital age, and we do have the advantage of being able to use these amazing social media platforms and have, literally billions of people that we can connect with at our fingertips, right? But we're still at the mercy of these algorithms. And if you don't have a strategy in place that's actually making the algorithm work for you as opposed to against you, you're definitely leaving money on the table and you're definitely hurting your overall strategy, okay? Because it's a super simple way of generating massive more engagement, getting a lot more attention to the other types of content that you're going to be putting out, which are going to be super important, okay? And that right there is the only 4 pieces of content that you ever need to worry on. I promise you this, okay? Consistently and with purpose and congruency with what you've already established here, with your ethos activated, this will work every time, okay? The only thing that's more powerful than this is when you do this in conjunction with the other two pieces of content that I'm going to be showing you and how to utilize them in groups. Now, groups are an invaluable tool because these are already pre-assembled groups of your potential clients, right? These are already places where the people that you know are going to need your offer the most have already grouped together in one place. Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. But like I said before, this is somebody else's house. There's rules. You have to be respectful, okay? And you definitely don't want to be stepping on people's toes. There's nothing that you want to avoid more than destroying your credibility by coming off as a scammer or coming off as somebody who's just trying to basically pirate somebody else's group, okay? So there's a lot of ways to go about doing this. And like I said before, there's 100%, 100,000% an effective way to do this ethically, do it in a non-sleazy way, and get people to basically attract them back to your personal profile, your house, your party, to where they can consume more of your content, okay? But if you do this effectively, not only will you be able to generate more leads, more clients, but you'll actually get the love and respect of the group administrators, okay? A lot of people out there think that the group administrators are all just, you know, very egocentric, and it's them, it's their group, and you better not mess with it. It's not the case at all. Most oftentimes, these people have created these groups because they genuinely have a passion, they want to help people and share, but at the same time, they're not just going to let somebody come in and take over their show, right? So you got to do it in the right way. So again, the biggest form of content that you're going to utilize that's going to be most effective for you is, again, belief-shifting content. Belief-shifting content is king, okay? This is how you change the mindset of the people that you're going to work with. And this is crucial if you are trying to take them through something which potentially maybe they've tried something similar to yours and it hasn't worked before. Maybe they've never tried it before, so they're skeptical as hell about any of this stuff, right? Okay, there's a lot of elements that go into people being in the right place to be able to make a big commitment to themselves, all right? And it's your job to streamline that process as quickly as possible, all right? And that's what I want to help you do. So, belief-shifting content, again. And then another piece that we call phishing. Now, phishing can be done in a plethora of different ways. Phishing is very much exactly like what it sounds like. It is basically creating content that is going to speak to people that potentially need your offer right now or people that might in the future, okay? And being able to gauge the amount of response to the type of things that you are posting. You can use this effectively to uncover information about your ideal target audience and, you know, what types of things they're struggling with and stuff like that. Again, be creative with it, guys. We've seen it all in groups before, I'm sure, if you've been on social media. The same questions that everybody can tell are just engagement questions. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not effective phishing, okay? Again, I'm not going to get super deep into it right now, but ultimately, there is a much more effective way of going about phishing. And again, it really boils down to just being creative, not just, you know, copying exactly what you see everybody else doing. Really take the time to put into what would serve your tribe. What information do you actually need, and if getting that information from your tribe is in some way going to help them eventually, okay? If that information is only ever going to help you and help you to be able to sell more, they can see that a mile away, all right? So don't do that. Now, hopefully you guys are following me so far, and ultimately this is what's going to lead you to the last piece of the puzzle, okay? This is going to lead you to something that I call shameless selling. All right, which is the opposite of shameful selling, right? Okay. Losing my board here. All right. I write hard when I get fired up about something. So, shameless selling. All of this, the ethos effect, is taking you to a point of finality, and that is what we call shameless selling. The final element of being able to run a profitable online business that I see coaches and experts struggle with the most is, in the end, in the sale, okay? Even coming down to the point of just simply hating sales because of the way that the market portrays that it has to be done and the feeling that it gives them. Most people feel, like I said, very shameful when they do not have the ethos effect properly working in their business. It's very easy to feel shameful about selling. It's very easy to get caught up into that mindset because, again, you feel as though you're taking time away from people. And you have to use a certain amount of that time to even determine whether or not they're going to be somebody that you can help, okay? So, and as you do this consistently and you're doing this at scale, this can really, really become a problem, and you can get burnt out from this super, super freaking quick. Don't want that for you guys, okay? And this is the number one killer of people out there with amazing skill sets, amazing friggin' talents that they could be helping people with, but they never get anywhere because they get burnt out, because they're not doing shameless selling, okay? Selling should be easy and it should be shameless, okay? It should be part of your duty, actually. Once you have developed congruency around your ethos, it is going to create not only credibility, but confidence. Clarity is power, guys. All right, when you have clarity around your message, your offer, your unique process, you know exactly what it is you're doing for these people. You know the effect that you can have. You know the impact that it can have on their life. This dynamically changes the game in your confidence level and ability to be able to express not only that desire, but that offer and how you can do it to people, okay? And the switch in which, that comes off from you is of supreme importance. And again, in my experience, if you don't have some type of methodology that is allowing you the clarity to create what I've showed you here, you're going to struggle with sales, okay? So, that being said, once we have the congruency, once we have the playbook actually being used, we're doing the right kind of content, that's going to bring us to shameless selling. That's where we want to be. The dynamic and the flip is that people, when done effectively, are going to be reaching out to you. This is going to eliminate this massive process of cold calling. It's going to eliminate the icky salesman, feeling, and it's ultimately going to allow you to just sell more and do it way more effectively, all right, the way you should be able to do it. So, shameless selling is basically going to break down into 4 main parts, and this is what's going to keep you on target. And again, if you have gone through this process and done it effectively and done it truly, this becomes no problem. You never have to worry about leads again. You never have to worry about money again, because you are literally have a system in place that is out there in the world for anybody to find 24/7, any part of the world. People can find you while you're asleep, while you're not asleep, it doesn't matter, okay? And that's what we want to set up for you. So, the 4 elements of shameless selling are basically going to break down to messenger sales, okay? Ultimately, everything that we're doing here is in an attempt to solidify and create congruency with your story, okay? Stories sell. Humans, in case you didn't know, because of oral traditions and the way that we have evolved or developed, whatever you want to call it, we intrinsically are drawn to stories. We learn from stories better. Stories resonate with us. So when you are able to have an effective story online, you will never go hungry again. You will never be at a loss for leads, okay? Because this leads you to connections. Messenger, right? How is it we connect on these platforms? Well, we're in Messenger. And this is where shameless selling takes place, because as opposed to having you reaching out to hundreds and thousands of people, you now have people reaching out to you, okay? Completely different dynamic. Messenger sales, with a little bit of practice, become a no-brainer. You'll literally be able to sell people into programs right through Messenger or even through with a quick call, which again, is going to be another one of the elements here that you're going to need to focus on. Calls, for sure. Again, getting people on calls is crucial. That's where the magic happens. That's where the sale happens. And you need to be able to get them there effectively. You don't want to be wasting massive amounts of time. And that is what happens when you have the ETHOS effect. When you have this congruency, calls are not your problem, okay? If you're having trouble closing those calls, that's a completely different problem. But we've gotten you to the point to where you are no longer looking for people. People are looking to you, and now we just have to identify what it is, why it is that you're not able to ultimately sell them, okay? Which again, will more than likely relate to one of these here elements that you just still are lacking clarity in or lacking confidence in. But the point is that it's defined. We know what we're looking at here, and we can systematically go back and find the holes, okay? This is super, super crucial. Everything about building your online business is about tracking. It's about creating systems, looking to see which ones work, which ones don't, testing them, and then tracking, paying attention to what you've done and what you haven't done, okay? You don't want to be repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. You want to be able to identify the holes, identify the blockages in your money flowing river, if you would. It's an analogy that one of my first mentors taught me, great analogy. Like I said, you have a money flowing river. And ultimately, if the money isn't coming into your bank account, there's blocks in that river. This process helps you identify those blocks and helps you destroy them so that way the money can flow seamlessly, right? Because that's what this is all about. I want to help you be able to create a profitable online business, because if it's not profitable, it's just a expensive hobby, you know, unfortunately. And to have impact, there has to be money, there has to be profit. People's lives are changed with these things, okay? So the last two elements of shameless selling are obviously going to be your offer, which we've already dived and detailed into here. You're already going to have clarity around that, so your offer is going to be a no-brainer. And then the final piece that is really, really effective and a great tool to leverage is something called micro demos. Similar to what I'm doing right here. A micro demonstration of your process, your methodology, how it is that you can actually help people get results, okay? These are going to constitute your core of shameless selling, and this is what's going to keep you on target for your revenue goals, okay? This is how it's done. This is how I've done it in my business, and this is how I have taught my clients as well to operate inside their businesses, and we have seen massive amounts of success, okay? So hopefully some of this has been eye-opening for you. At bare minimum, you've walked away with a couple of nuggets, and I'd just like to take a second to ask you, you know, analyze this, look at this. Take a good look at this and ask yourself, in your process, where are you missing pieces of this? What pieces are you missing? Are you missing all of them? Are you missing maybe just one or two? Hopefully this training has been able to help you identify some of the things, and you can definitely go out and take what you've learned here today and apply it, try it for yourself, see if it works. But ultimately, if you'd like help implementing this system in your business, if you'd like us to actually help you, myself, help you implement this process personally, okay? So therefore, you're not leaving any of the guesswork up to yourself, and you know that you have somebody who's actually effectively utilized this system, helping you implement it in your business. Please click the button below this video. Let's jump on a quick call. Let's dive into your business. Let's see where you're at, and let's see if this really would be the best program to help you hit your goals. I know that this system would work for damn near anybody out there, but again, you know, I can't ethically and honorably say that without first having a quick second to get to know you. So that's something I'd love to have the opportunity to do. Again, if you're interested, if this is something that you feel like you're lacking in your business, or this is just something you'd like to know a little bit more about, a little bit more deep dive into the process, reach out, let's jump on a call, let's get you activated. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this training, and I love you guys. As always, I hope you guys know, when it comes to your dreams and building the life that you want, as always, my friends, do not hesitate. Stay activated. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Take care.